Selected poems of Paul Laurence Dunbar. By Paul Laurence Dunbar. So James Weldon Johnson. My city. When I come down to sleep death's endless night, the threshold of the unknown dark to cross, what to me then will be the keenest loss? When this bright world blurs on my fading sight, will it be that no more I shall see the trees, or smell the flowers, or hear the singing birds, or watch the flashing streams or patient herds? No, I'm sure it will be none of these. But, Manhattan's sights and sounds, her smells, her crowds, her throbbing force, the thrill that comes from being of her a part, her subtle spells, her shining towers, her avenues, her slums. Oh God! The stark, unutterable pity, to be dead, and never again behold my city. Paul Laurence Dunbar, 1872–1906. He son of former slaves, Dunbar was born and grew up in Dayton, Ohio. His father had escaped from Kentucky to serve in a Massachusetts regiment during the Civil War. He began writing poetry in high school and eventually acquired a large, multiracial audience. By late 19th century standards, Dunbar's work was steadfast both in its black pride and its rejection of racism. Yet during the Harlem Renaissance his dialect poetry would win praise from Langston Hughes and Sterling Brown, while meeting severe criticism from James Weldon Johnson and others. The question was whether the dialect poetry gave voice to authentic black folk traditions, or unintentionally collaborated in the racist tradition of white writers who employed black dialect to suggest slaves were happy under their masters. Yet Dunbar actually experimented with Irish American and German American dialects as well, and wrote many poems in standard English. Moreover, in his own lifetime the poems in black dialect were published in heavily illustrated volumes whose realist photographs of rural blacks effectively undercut any possibility for reading condescension or stereotyping into the poems themselves. Unfortunately, the illustrations have never been reprinted. We wear the mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us, while we wear the mask. We smile, but, O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet, and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. 1,895 Somaliland shillings. $2. Paul Laurence Dunbar. When Malindy sings. Gwayan, quit that noise, Miss Lucy. Put that music book away. What's to use to keep on trying? If you practice 12 degree you're grey. You can't start no notes a flyin'. Lack the ones that rants and rings. FOM de kitchen to the big woods. When Malindy sings. You ain't got the natural organs degree. Foo to make the sound come right. You ain't got the 2 NS degree and twistins. Foo to make it sweet and alight. Tell you one thing now, Miss Lucy. And I'm telling you foo true. When hit comes to rile degree right sin gin. T ain't no easy thing to do. Easy enough foo folks to holler. Looking at the lines and dots. When day ain't no one can sense it. An tune comes in spots. But foo real melodious music. That jazz strikes you heat and clings. Jays, you stand and listen with me. When Malindy sings. Ain't you never hired? Malindy? Bless soul, take up the cross. Look higher, ain't you joking, honey? Well, you don't know what you loss. Why and ought to hire that gal AWA blin degree. Robbins, Larks, and Rawl DEM things. Here's day moves and a hides day faces. When Malindy sings. 4, 12, until. 9, natural organs, natural organs. 11, TWNS, turns. 15, RAL, real. 19, consents, consents. 22, heat, heart. 25, hired, heard. 29, wablin, warbling. 31, here's day moves, hush their mouths. Fiddlin' man Jays stop his fiddlin'. Lay his fiddle on the sheaf. Mockingbird quit trying to whistle. Cause he Jays so shamed his F. Folks a playing on the banjo. Draps day fingers oe the strings. Bless yo soul, foo gets to move them. When Malindy sings. She Jays spreads her moof and hollers. Come to Jesus, twirl you higher. Sinners tremblin' steps and voices. Timid lack a draw in an ear. Den she 2ns to Rock of Ages, degree. Simply to the cross she clings. And you find yos tears a drapiny. When Malindy sings. Who that says that humble praises? With the master? Never counts? Here's yo o moof, I hire that music. Easy hit rises up and air mounts. Flow otten by the hills and the valleys. Way above dis burying the sod. Easy hit makes its way in glory. To the very gates of God. Oh, hit sweeter than the music of an educated band. And it hits dearer than the battles. Song oath triumph in the land. It seems holier than evening. When the solemn ch bell rings. Easy I sit and camly listen. While Malindy sings. Tosa, stop that ba kin, hire me. Mandy, make that chili keep still. Don't you hire the echoes calling. FOM the valley to the hill? 42, come to Jesus, popular hymn. 45, Rock of Ages, popular hymn. 47, tears a drapping, tears a dropping. 50, Master, God. 38. 70. Paul Laurence Dunbar. Let me listen, I can hire it. Tho de breath of angels' wings. Soft and sweet, swing low, sweet chariot, degree. Easy Malindy sings. Sympathy. I know what the caged bird feels, alas. When the sun is bright on the upland slopes. When the wind stirs soft through the springing grass. And when the river flows like a stream of glass. When the first bird sings and the first bud ops degree. And the faint perfume from its chalice steals. I know what the caged bird feels. I know why the caged bird beats his wing. Till its blood is red on the cruel bars. For he must fly back to his perch and cling. When he fain would be. On the bough a swing. And a pain still throbs in the old scars. And they pulse again with a keener sting. I know why he beats his wing. I know why the caged bird sings, me. When his wing is bruised and his bosom sore. When he beats his bars and he would be free. It is not a carol of joy or glee. But a prayer that he sends from his heart's core. But a plea that upward to heaven he flings. I know why the caged bird sings. The haunted oak. Pray why are you so bare, so bare? Oh, bough of the old oak tree? And why, when I go through the shade you throw, runs a shudder over me? 71. Swing low, sweet chariot, popular hymn. Aesop's opens. 6. Chalice, a flower shaped like a cup or glass. 11. Fain would like to be. My leaves were green as the best, I trow degree, and sap ran free in my veins. But I saw in the moonlight dim and weird a guiltless victim's pains. I bent me down to hear his sigh. I shook with his gurgling moan, and I trembled sore when they rode away and left him here alone. They'd charged him with the old crime and set him fast in jail. Oh, why does the dog howl all night long? And why does the night wind wail? He prayed his prayer and he swore his oath, and he raised his hand to the sky. But the beat of hoofs smote on his ear, and the steady tread drew nigh. Who is it rides by night, over the moonlit road? And what is the spur that keeps the pace? What is the galling goad? And now they beat at the prison door. Ho, keeper, do not stay. We are friends of him whom you hold within, and we fain would take him away. Brom those who ride fast on our heels, with mind to do him wrong. They have no care for his innocence, and the rope they bear is long. They have fooled the jailer with lying words. They have fooled the man with lies. The bolts unbar, the locks are drawn, and the great door open flies. Now they have taken him from the jail, and hard and fast they ride. 5. Trow, believe. SS. Paul Laurence Dunbar. And the leader laughs low down in his throat, as they halt my trunk beside. Oh, the judge, he wore a mask of black, and the doctor one of white, and the minister, with his oldest son, was curiously bedight. Degree. Oh, foolish man, why weep you now? 'Tis but a little space, and the time will come when these shall dread the memoir of your face. I feel the rope against my bark, and the weight of him in my grain. I feel in the throe of his final woe the touch of my own last pain, and never more shall leaves come forth on a bough that bears the ban. I'm burned with dread, I am dried and dead from the curse of a guiltless man. And ever the judge rides by, and goes to hunt the deer, and ever another rides his soul in the guise of a mortal fear, and ever the man he rides me hard, and never a night stays he, for I feel his curse as a haunted bough on the trunk of a haunted tree. 44. Bedight, dressed. $15.7. Alexander Posey, 1873 to 1908. Any and raised in the Creek Nation, Posey was nonetheless the best-known Native American writer of his time. Posey spoke Creek until age 14, learning English only thereafter. The Creek Nation sponsored him at Oklahoma's Backwun Indian University, where he studied Latin and Greek. He also read widely in English poetry and began to publish his own poems, often using the pseudonym Chinook Harjo. For a time, he became involved in American Indian politics, served as a school administrator, and became the first American Indian to edit a daily newspaper. His Song of the Octahutch collected poems was finally published in 2008. Along with Tukwastes the White Man's Burden, Posey's work demonstrates definitively that American Indian poets were writing articulate protest poems and using traditional poetic forms to celebrate their culture and castigate white imperialism by the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The decree. What does the white man say to you? Says he, you've got to hoe, you've got to plow. You've got to live by the sweat of your brow. Even as I. You've held your last powwow. And your last revelry. The council fire whereby you hold debate. Against my stern decree. Is flickering out before the breath of fate. What does the white man say to you? Thus speaketh he to you, you've got to cast your laws as relics to an empty past. You've got to change and mend your ways at last. I'm your keeper and your guardian in the judgment of mankind. And it is mine to command you in the way that leaves your savage self behind. On the capture and imprisonment of Crazy Snake. January 1901. Down with him. Chain him. Bind him fast. Slam to the iron door and turn the key. Poem title, Crazy Snake, Chito Harjo, 1846.